Alrighty, so this is Miss P, and we're talking about how to put together our clarinet today. So you can see I already have some of my pieces out that we're going to be using for this demonstration, but before, remember to put your case on a flat surface. You can see mine's over here. Be sure, put it on a table, on the floor. Don't put it on your lap to open it. Don't put it on an unstable chair or stool. Make sure it's a nice sturdy surface to put your clarinet case on. Go ahead, open your clarinet case. Grab your cork grease like we did and go ahead and grease your 3 corks, so your 2 on your upper joint and the 1 on the lower joint. And remember, when we use our cork grease, try not to get any on the black. We want to just get the brown part, which is the cork. So just nice and gentle, probably once or twice all the way around, and do that for the other one. So go ahead and pause the video and take a second to do that. Alrighty, once you've done that, we're going to go ahead like we started today. So with your left hand, you can see this is my left hand. I marked it right and left. So with your left hand, you're going to grab your lower joint. So remember, this is the one with the extra keys, the bigger keys, the extra bigger keys. And you're going to put it like you're going to give it a high five. And you want to make sure that you're grabbing onto it where the keys aren't, because we don't want to smush the keys. If we grab too hard onto the keys or the rods, we can bend the keys. So we just want to be really careful not to do that. So go ahead, put the flat side of your lower joint into your left hand, just like so. Make sure the keys are pointing toward the camera, so toward whatever you're watching this on. Then go ahead, pick up your bell in your right hand. So you can see this is my right hand. And we're going to do a twist and push motion. So remember, we're not going to do a full circle around. We never want to twist it all the way around like that. Just right and left, really small, pushing and twisting. And remember, we don't want to see this, right? We don't want to see a gap. We want to make sure it's all flush with the lower joint. So go ahead, pause the video, and practice that until you get it right every single time. And just for good measure, go ahead, take it off once more after you practiced a few times. We're going to go ahead and put it on together. So again, lower joint in your left hand with the black facing our palm like you're giving it a high five. Keys pointing toward the camera. And then we're just going to do slow twist and push. And there we have the lower joint with our bell. Now, keep that in your left hand. Notice how the bell right now is pointing this way. We want to flip it so the bell is pointing the other way. So I'll do that one more time. So notice bell's pointing this way. We're going to flip it so that it's pointing the other way, so that this part, the opening, is near our belly button. Now you can go ahead, pick up the upper joint. Make sure you find a comfortable position to put this in, right? So it's still my palm, still my left hand, and just grabbing it in a way that I'm not touching the keys, so that I'm sure I'm not going to bend the rods and I'm not going to bend these keys. So go ahead, pick up your upper joint, and we want to have our keys lined up. So if you can find a way to hold the upper joint, probably toward the top as there's less keys, right? So I have my hand wrapped around here. Make sure your keys are lined up. So see how the keys with the rings, like this one or this one, they're all lined up together. So the next step, as we talked about, we need to press this key down. So go ahead and adjust your hand, your right hand, so that you're holding the upper joint ever so carefully and pushing down this second key. So it's not the first one, but it's the second one. And you'll notice when you put that down, that's going to move this key right here. And that's going to be super important for putting this together. So again, keys are facing all the same way. You're going to put down your that key that I just talked about, right? That solid key. You're going to keep that down, and as you put it on, you're going to do the same twist and push motion again. And if you notice, there's a key very similar on this side right here. This key is called the bridge key, and it connects the lower joint to the upper joint. So the reason we have to press this down is so that it stays above that other key, so that we don't jam it. So twist until it's all the keys are lined up. We'll do that one more time. So let me go ahead, take it off. Remember, whenever we take anything off, we're going to do that same twist motion, but pulling instead. So remember, keys are lined up, pressing down this silver key so that the bridge key comes up, and then slowly twisting and pushing it in. Now, go ahead, pause the video a couple times, or just pause the video once, so that you can practice this a couple of times. Okay, this is the trickiest part. And as you do this, once you're finished, you want to make sure on the side, so I had my clarinet like this before, right? So our bridge key's down here. So go ahead, you want to make sure that that bridge key right there is lined up. So you can see I can have them not lined up like that, but the keys really aren't centered, right? So if the keys are centered and they're all in line, that means that that bridge key should be right in line with the lower joint bridge key, so that we have the good mechanics going on for our clarinet. We're not going to worry about the barrel and the mouthpiece today. So go ahead, if you need to practice again, remember we had the lower joint in the left hand, the upper joint in the right hand. Go ahead, pause again, practice this one more time. This is the trickiest one, right? So remember, that silver key down, keys lined up toward the camera, and then just a simple twist and push as we line it up. And if the keys are in line, if they're all lined up together, you should be in the right spot for that bridge key. So go ahead, pause the video, practice that a few more times, and then we're going to take it apart. Alrighty, now that you've practiced a few times, we're going to go ahead and take it apart. So the same thing, remember how we had to press down this key for putting it together? We also have to press it down for taking it apart. So remember, when we take something apart, it's going to be a pull and twist motion, not a full circle, just back and forth. So again, you can see this is my right hand, this is my left hand. So again, twist and pull apart, just like that. And as soon as you have it apart from the clarinet, don't put it on the table, don't put it on the floor, don't put it on the chair, don't put it on your lap. It goes right back in to your case. So I just put mine in my case exactly where it goes, being sure to put it in its proper place, right? There's a specific spot for the lower joint, which is this one, and there's a specific spot for the upper joint, which I just put away. Okay, now we still have this in our left hand, so you can go ahead, grab the bell with your left hand, as you can see. Grab the lower joint with your right hand, again, somewhere where you're not going to smush a lot of keys, right? I don't want to grab it like this. This isn't a good way to grab it. This isn't a good way to grab it either. We want to grab it in a way that we're not going to be touching a lot of keys. So again, you're going to do a twist and pull motion, and you can actually do it with both. So you can see that I'm doing it with both here, and it's going to slowly come apart. And again, once you've taken these apart, don't put it on your lap, don't put it on the floor, don't put it on the table. Go ahead, put it right back in your case. Alrighty, and that's how we put together and take apart our clarinet. So again, being sure that we are being extra careful with those keys. We want to make sure that we're not smushing the keys or the rods at any time. Making sure that we grease all of the corks before we start. And then also being sure when we're putting it together, it's going to be a push and twist, not a full circle. And when we're taking it apart, it's going to be a pull and twist, not a full circle. Okay? Hopefully this helps, and we'll go over this in your next lesson.